Today we will watch a video of a black man experiencing anti-blackness while in the Philippines and hear from people speaking on their time in the Philippines and traveling the world. Check it out.
Yo, don't be a nigga down here, man.
What you call me? Huh? You call me an N-word, huh? Say it again. Say it again. Say it again.
That's enough. That's enough, sir.
It's enough.
That's
You cannot
enough.
video anything in the Philippines.
Just punch it, Harry. Punch it, Harry.
What did you call me? Say what you called me.
Sir, that's enough. Calm down, calm down.
Tell him what you called me.
That's calm down, calm down. We're almost done here. Look, you're almost done.
Yeah, no, he's gonna come.
That's
Get away
okay.
from me.
That's okay, sir. That's okay. It's almost done. That's okay, sir. Just leave it there.
Yo, don't be a nigga down here, man. I'll whoop your ass down there anytime. She needs to apologize. You're gonna make it a big fucking deal. You put your ass motherfucker. How would I be?
Yeah.
You cannot video here. Philippine laws. You cannot video. And post it. You could go to jail in the Philippines.
You'll see it on Facebook.
You could go to jail.
It's not allowed to.
Tingnan ko. Ano siya siya lang?
It's not allowed
Oh, y'all can tell me if it's just me, but I just been feeling like this entire year I've been finding out that literally everybody hates Black Americans.
I've been called the N-word 6 times in the Philippines now. 5 times by kids and 1 time by an adult. For me, this makes me understand that Filipino adults are more informed about the impact or the meaning of the N-word and wouldn't really use it, and kids aren't really aware, and that's why I've been called the N-word more by kids than adults in the Philippines. No Filipino adult has ever called me the N-word. Kids have called me the N-word 5 times. And I guess this is because of the influence of American movies. They're fond of watching American music, pop shows, and other social media popular activities that make them call me the N-word.
How are people still so surprised when I say I'd rather deal with American racism than whatever they got going on in some of these other countries? Like, American racism is systemic, but it's also covert. Sometimes, but we gonna get to that. And then you go to some of these other countries and it's also systemic, but it's in your face too. In America, I could get passed up for a job simply because I'm Black. But then in Europe, not only will they pass me up for the job, they might throw bananas at me and then just be like, oh, it's our culture. In America, I can walk down the street and be just another person. Now I go to some parts of Mexico and people are trying to touch me, trying to take pictures, trying to touch my hair. In America, when someone asks me where I'm from, saying that I was born in New York and raised in Florida usually is enough. I said that to someone in England one day and she tried to press me to tell her what tribe I was from. The biggest argument against what I'm saying is obviously, well, in America, you're more likely to get shot. Lack of guns didn't stop that one Italian man from beating that Nigerian street vendor to death. And it didn't stop everyone around from doing absolutely nothing. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The only thing stopping a lot of people in these other countries from just decimating Black people en masse isn't because they have so much empathy and care. They just don't have guns. You know the saying, better the devil you know? Well, I'd rather be in a place where I know which towns to avoid after sundown than be in a foreign country and be potentially ignored, refused service, beat down at 12 p.m. in the middle of the day.
I am very, very aware that Filipinos also engage in discrimination and colorism and racism. There are only two countries where I've been called a slur, and unfortunately the Philippines is one of them. When I was traveling with the girl that I was with at the time, we were coming out of the club. We'd had the best time with a pretty big group of just great people, right? And we were happy, we were chatting and just talking about our trip so far. And ahead of us, there were 2 girls walking and they had a male friend in front of them. He turned back and he looked at us and he said the N-word with the hard R with an S at the end of it. And as soon as he said that, the 2 girls audibly, they were like, I wanted to mention that because people try to act like Asian people don't understand racism and don't understand slurs and they don't know what they're saying, but they know what they're saying. I don't know what's the obsession with infantilizing Asian people, but they made audible gasps. And the girl that I was hanging out with literally said, "What the did you say?" And she went to go after him, and I did take her arm and I pulled her back because listen, we're in another country, okay? Unfortunately, when you are a foreigner in another country, you're at a disadvantage if you attack somebody. I hold her arm and I was like, okay, I get it. You know, it's a good reason to be angry, but we have to remember where we are, right? And before this, we were having a really good time. There's only so much you can do. We're in another person's country, another people's country. So they took him by the arm. Both girls took him by the arm and started like shoving him forward, and he was like stumbling while drunk. And that was the second time I was ever called a slur outside of America, because I've been called a slur several times in America.
Too many foundational Black Americans grow up hearing one dangerous myth: the racism is only an American problem. Then they travel overseas to Europe, Asia, Latin America, the Middle East, or even parts of Africa, and suddenly they are shocked when they face anti-Blackness, colorism, profiling, fetishization, staring, hair-touching, or flat-out disrespect. But the truth is, racism is global. America did not invent anti-Blackness. It industrialized it. The roots were spread worldwide through European colonialism, slavery, missionary systems, caste hierarchies, and white supremacist beauty standards, which left long-lasting psychological damage in many nations. This is why I wish more foundational Black Americans would travel the world, not just for fun, but to study people, systems, and culture in real time. Travel teaches you something books and social media never fully can. You learn the good, the bad, and the contradictions of every society. Some countries may treat you with warmth, respect, and curiosity. Others may expose deep layers of anti-Blackness that locals themselves may not even realize they carry. That shock many Black Americans feel overseas often comes from assuming that because a country is non-white, it must automatically be anti-racist. History proves otherwise. Many societies inherited racial hierarchies directly from colonization. For example, in the Philippines, centuries of Spanish and later American colonial rule created social systems that often associated whiteness, lighter skin, and Western features with status, beauty, and intelligence. That legacy still feeds colorism and anti-Black attitudes today. So, when some foundational Black Americans travel there and experience staring, people wanting photos, invasive questions, skin comments, or even lighter skin worship, it should be understood through the lens of colonial mentality and global colorism, not just isolated ignorance. And to be fair, not every uncomfortable moment is hatred. Sometimes it is genuine curiosity. Sometimes it is lack of exposure. Sometimes it is ignorance mixed with stereotypes learned from American media, Hollywood, music videos, or global propaganda. But sometimes it is very real racism. That distinction matters. A person touching your hair, assuming you play basketball, connecting you to crime, drugs, or hypersexual stereotypes, those are forms of anti-Black conditioning that exist far beyond U.S. borders. Black American expats in Europe and Asia regularly report these same patterns. What many FBAs may miss is this: travel reveals how global the Black image has been exported. People in foreign countries may have never met a foundational Black American in their life, yet already know who they think you are because they consume distorted images from music, sports, film, military history, or colonial education. That is why travel can be both painful and empowering. Painful because it reminds you anti-Blackness has crossed oceans. Empowering because it helps you separate who truly respects Black people, who merely consumes Black culture, who has been mentally colonized, and which countries are genuinely healthier environments for Black life. And we also need balance. The point is not to condemn whole nations. Every country has good people and bad people. Many Black travelers also report deep respect, hospitality, and life-changing experiences abroad, especially when they learn local history and approach cultures with humility. That's why more foundational Black Americans should travel, not with fantasy, but with awareness. Travel sharpens discernment. It helps you compare how societies handle race, policing, beauty standards, immigration, class, and Black identity. It teaches you that some countries hide racism behind politeness. Some express it openly. Some are obsessed with whiteness because colonialism rewired their standards. and some are still healing from systems they inherited centuries ago. The world can teach powerful lessons. The biggest one is this: anti-Blackness is global, but so is Black resilience. The more foundational Black Americans travel, observe, document, and share honest experiences, the more we can help our people move with wisdom instead of illusion. Because the goal is not just to see the world, the goal is to understand the world as it truly is. Tell me what you think about this topic. Hope you find the information in this video informative. Feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment. Thanks for watching.